Pecha Kucha 316, thoughts on continuing my book. So it's not that I'm intending to give up on it, it's that there's this small likelihood I might decide to do a separate book that is shorter and actually feels like it has more of a point. It's kind of been preying on me the last couple of weeks, having read Midnighter and coming to the conclusion it was a book that had no purpose. I'm getting antsy about my book having no purpose. For the reader, it has a clear purpose for me. The purpose is to physically make it. I've had another idea that's on my list of things to make a book out of. I've nothing to show, but it's something that I'm going to see if I can get to the bottom of by this time next week. So we'll see what happens. This week I read from my personal collection Iron Man Mask in the Iron Man. A play on, Man in the Iron Mask. Basically, it's a story about Iron Man the suit gaining sentience and what Tony Stark does about it. It's written in the very, very early 2000s, at a time where Tony Stark being Iron Man was not known. This version of him, it's a secret. It's a secret identity. It's screwing up his love life with this hot Asian chick who is also heir to the throne of a massive industrial Japanese company. Which is happening in the background. Iron Man's legendary nemesis, the Gimp with the whip, basically electrocutes Tony Stark during the New Year's 2000 celebrations, triggering a cascade of events that makes his Iron Man suit become sentient. It also features shameless hotshotting, where there's a dream sequence where everybody dies. The Mandarin attacks Tony Stark in his secret lair and forces him to fight as Iron Man drunk. And it all works. And then the rest of the story, which is so good it could have become canon, like in a continuous way, is about the suit accidentally killing Whiplash, the Gimp guy, discovering morality, discarding it, and thinking, I'm going to kill Tony Stark and replace him, and I'm going to be Iron Man, and I'm going to be an Avenger. Just the idea of the Iron Man suit becoming sentient and it changing the dynamic of Tony Stark's personal life. This is an idea that is so good, it's a shame it's wasted in a admittedly very good 6-issue miniseries. This could have been something they could have really played with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I also, luckily enough, on mainstream TV caught a replay of the first episode of Sherlock, which is excellent television. It made Benedict Cumberbatch a household name, and if I can catch more of it, I'll be very happy too, because it was 2 hours of excellence. I also saw In Bruges, a comedy involving these people, about some hitmen who fuck up a job and end up in Bruges, and things continue to get fucked up. Not the kind of movie I would typically watch, but I'm glad that I'm checking what's on TV and catching things like this. Very good. I also saw a movie simply called Devil. I think it was written and maybe directed by M. Night Shyamalan. A bunch of strangers trapped in a lift. One of them's the devil and he's trying to kill the rest of them. Very well acted. No major stars, but it's nice to see a premise that's interesting, executed well. Which brings me to my book, which is probably not what that is. So this week I was trying to get out of my own way and kind of close the gaps I have when it comes to the characterization of the cast visually. And just trying to make them seem like manga characters while trying to keep to this visual identity I have. And this is just the primary, the firstborn son of one of the samurai lord of the castle where half the story's set. And I've never actually bothered to finalize what he actually looks like. It's a very good idea to try and narrow these things down without losing sight of what it was supposed to be in the first place. These are one of the many details the book can get lost in, and the more of these things I do, the closer I get to a finished book, but the closer I get to giving up on the whole thing. I also managed to string together a bison. I'm really trying to phone him in while I'm focusing on the book, since getting onto this version of the storyboard. It's probably contributing to my overall sense that things aren't really going so well, all things considered, which is probably reinforcing my disinterest with continuing on with the book. But in all honesty, that's fundamentally the result of the book being, as I always knew it was going to be, the largest and hardest thing I've ever done in my fucking life. But that thing about it just not actually being worth reading in a way where it really should be. Funny how I segue into H.P. Lovecraft at that very moment. This story is, well, this is all of the story. It's half a fucking page. And I probably spent more time doing a pretty difficult to determine illustration of it than H.P. Lovecraft spent writing it. As I'm getting through this collection of H.P. Lovecraft books, I'm still continuing to read a story and then do something of a kind of thumbnail sketch depiction of the key visual elements or characters just for my own personal entertainment. And I'm enjoying like composing these things, but I don't want to go all in on actually making them look credible because the stories aren't credible. But The White Ship is the first story I've read in this book that is actually written in a way where it has some degree of value for the reader as a commentary on what it means to be alive. In this instance, it's about people who push things too far, going beyond success to ruin in that Shakespearean third act way of always needing things to be a bigger, badder, better success. It's the story of a guy on a ship who literally sails to paradise and is convinced there's an even greater paradise further out there in the sea, and it turns out that was wishful thinking in all of, 4 or 5 pages. So I'm going to give myself until the end of next week to see if I can come up with the rest of my plot synopsis for an alternative idea I could do that might get a bit more, pep in my step. But if I can't do that, I'm just going to have to struggle on with the book I'm already working on, and that's not going to be pleasant. So that's the end of Pecha Kucha 316, and we will see what happens from here on out.